Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to give you guys a sort of academic review about the day in the life as I go through as a student. And I'm going to show you guys the classrooms, talk about my academic experience, and show you guys some buildings that you might have classes in if you take the MSA program like I do, and just kind of give you a general rundown of what it's like to be a student at the Gabelli Graduate School of Business. So let's get going. So this building here is the Lowenstein building. So this is the main campus building. And in terms of my academic career, so this is kind of where the hub is. So like this is the entrance of the building. I've only had one class here. It's not the accounting building, but this is the main building where the bookstore is, where the cafeteria is. So this is kind of the main building. And for me, so this is kind of like your one-stop shop. If you want to get into the building or just when you're around campus, want to check in or look for a quiet place to study. So this is kind of the main building for that. And again, you can see all the Christmas lights and everything around the area. So this is the main building that Fordham goes all out with to provide campus atmosphere for all of its students. So a great thing about the Lowenstein building is that it's the main building, but it connects to the Gabelli School of Business building as well. So if you go in through the main building, you can go up a flight of escalators and then come outside to this little pathway as I'm panning through here, and it connects perfectly as a nice little shortcut to the Gabelli School of Business building. So you don't need to walk through the sidewalk, go through the streets. You go in through the main building, walk across the pathway, and there you are into the Gabelli building. So it's kind of my little shortcut, and you can see more Christmas campus spirit with the tree lighting that we do here at campus. So it's just a nice little area. You can see there's some study areas and stuff as well, and it's a great connection point to get between both campuses when you're going to and fro. So this is what the Gabelli School of Business building looks like from the outside. So it has its own entrance, which is about a block down from the main Lowenstein campus. So if you want to go directly to the Gabelli School of Business, you can. And so for me, academically, this is where most of all my classes have been. So I've mostly been in this building taking courses, accounting courses, tax courses. And it's got about 3 to 4 floors of classrooms, mostly the same kind of lecture halls, and then with desks. And then there are now with COVID, they've been spread out by seats. And so this is the building that's really my career has been taking off in this building. I spent most of my time in this building, and if you are going to take the MSA track as well, or the MS tax program track, you'll be taking most of your classes in this building. It's a great building, has a finance trading center, has a bunch of classrooms, the deans are always available, the library is also in here. So it's a great building, and it's where I spent most of my time, and hopefully you'll spend a lot of your time as well. Welcome everyone, we are finally inside an actual classroom. So as you can see, due to COVID, everyone is all spread out, and the max for this room is actually 18, so you won't have more than 18 people in here, and they do a really good job of safety. I've actually balanced the camera on a hand sanitizer dispenser because I didn't have a cameraman. So they've got hand sanitizer everywhere, and they really do a great job of keeping everything safe. But now I want to cover 3 things in terms of academic review. So first, what are class sizes like? And like what is like kind of just the logistics of classrooms and stuff like that. Then 2, what the professors are like and how classes are kind of different from undergrad and grad. And then 3rd, lastly, like how much the workload is, because I know a lot of people have concern of how graduate school might be a little more difficult. So I'm going to cover those 3 things. So without further ado, let's get started. First, so classroom sizes are probably similar around this one. So like a max, you would in a normal year, you probably have 30, probably not much more than that. I haven't had too many bigger classrooms than that, though there are some bigger kind of lecture halls with like desks instead of seats. But again, due to COVID, those have mostly been put to a side. And the smallest classroom I had actually had a 7-person class once in like a building way off, like across the block. And so that was kind of strange having a small 7-person class, but that also I'd say it's on the rare side. So most of the time you're probably going to get a 20 to 25 range, which I think is a good amount. So you get to interact with students, and you also get a good attention from professors. So they really take care of you. They like to focus on the students, and you can get to know each other and also the professors. So I think Fordham does a great job at class sizes as well. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the professors, because professors can really make a difference between a great class and a poor class. So Fordham has some of the best professors around. I've enjoyed most of the ones I've had at the graduate school level. And at general level, all the professors at Fordham, they want you to succeed. Fordham is great at taking care of their own. It is something we're known for. So the professors, they want you to do well, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to help you succeed in the graduate school level. And also coming off that, so how are graduate classes different than undergraduate? So at least at Fordham from my perspective, so the biggest change is really the time difference. I don't know how, again, if you went to a different college, how your class structures work, but undergrad, Fordham usually, it was normally 2 classes a week and they were for about an hour, 15 minutes. Where at the graduate school level, you only get it once a week and it's for about 2 hours. So that was kind of the biggest change, I'd say, because otherwise, in terms of workload and work style, there isn't too much of a difference I noticed. Again, that might be because I came from the undergrad experience. So really, like, the education you get is the same. The topics are kind of, they still build from the undergrad, so it's not like you're thrown into the fire and you're like, whoa, what is this new accounting stuff? It's kind of just a building block process, which I found really helpful. Again, to get back to the timing aspect of it, that was a big change because now it's kind of doesn't even feel like you're going to school. It kind of feels like you're just kind of breaking up your day a little bit. So it is helpful if you are working or if you've got other complications on the side. That can be a great structure. But for me, sometimes like I'll have 3 days off in the week and then 2 classes on the other 2 days for 2 hours. So kind of like a 4-hour time block of classes. And then the other 3 days, I'm like, wow, am I even going to school, you know? So that's kind of difficult. So if you struggle with focusing time management, that can kind of mess you up if you like structure and kind of being in a classroom setting all the time. So that's kind of the biggest change. So that I would really focus on kind of staying in the mental game that you are in graduate school, classes are tough, that you're in school. It's not just like you're just taking some few classes on the weekend. That's not how it is. You're gonna need to devote your time. But other than that, I think Fordham does a great job with the transition from undergrad to graduate, and I think if you've had a successful undergrad experience, you will equally have a successful graduate experience. The thing I want to touch upon is just the overall workload and the time you need to spend at the graduate level. So basically, I'd say the workload, at least at Fordham in the MSA program, I would say it's challenging but rewarding. I wouldn't say it's super rigorous. I know I've kind of dealt with some questions. People have asked me, oh, is graduate school way harder than undergraduate? I wouldn't say it's way harder. It's a little different. You've definitely got to take more onus. It's more on yourself. It's a more independent learning process. So like, most of the time in class, like it's more, I would say it's a mix between lecture and discussion, but probably a little more lecture based at the graduate school level. So you'll kind of learn the material through PowerPoint slides and less more doing problems in class and then asking questions. So it's more learning the material, then you go back home or back to your apartment or wherever, and you kind of like practice it on your own, read the textbook, kind of do that stuff. So that's kind of how I would say the workload. It's not again super rigorous. It's not like it's going to kill you. It's not backbreaking, but you're going to have to put the work in. And Fordham's a great university, so they take top talent. You're going to have to put the work in. But I think at the end of the day, as long as you work hard and stay focused, you can succeed. So again, in terms of how much work you get outside of class, so it's different in undergrad again in that regard. In that there's not really homework assignments, so it's not like you do homework every week. A lot of time it'll just be a reading or read this chapter, and then kind of just really midterm final based, and some classes will have maybe a group project or make you write an essay or something. So it's really kind of, it's different. There's not really homework. It's really either big assignments, midterms, finals, and then just some readings to keep you involved, rather than, okay, here's what we learned today in class, go back, do problems 5 through 10. Like that really style of learning, that is not here, at least not in my experience at the MSA program at the graduate level. So it's really more independent. It's more, okay, here's the textbook, read it. I would advise you to read it, but no one checks if you do, so that's really on yourself. And then it's midterm final and maybe a project or two. So that's really the workload it's like. And on average, it probably takes me around 5 to 10 hours, depending throughout the week for each course. But again, that may sound like a lot, but like I said earlier, that the graduate classes is only once a week for 2 hours. So you really have a ton of free time as long as you're not working or doing anything on the side. Like I'm a full-time student, so I have a lot of free time in the days I don't have class to really sit down and do the work. And again, it's kind of mixed bag. So like sometimes when there's midterms aren't coming up, finals aren't coming up, you don't have projects, you really have a lot of free time. It's like, okay, you spend an hour reading the textbook, that's it. But then when midterms, finals come, you really gotta pack your bags, you gotta knuckle down, and that's when you're kind of putting in the 5 to 10 hours work a week for each class. So it's really mixed in that regard, and it really depends on your schedule as well. But the work-life balance is definitely there. So you gotta put the work in, you gotta treat it like graduate school, but I also haven't been like, oh my God, all I do is study. Like I'm still able to enjoy my time during the week. You'll have a couple hours, spend time with family, spend time with friends. And then on the weekends, I normally keep my schedule pretty free. So it's not like you're really just all the time working. Graduate school is difficult, but it's not overly time consuming, because again, they know that some people are working, some people have other commitments. So professors, again, and the school in general, really try to work with you to not keep it like all your time is graduate school. So hopefully that helped.